Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. I'm George Jamgochian, joined alongside
Julia Ryan.
And Leslie Gallagher.
All right, so we do have a great show.
So this morning,
we'll be talking about how Apple and Google are encouraging people to install contact tracing apps, how John Krasinski and David Ortiz surprised Boston hospital workers, and the possibility of universities canceling in-person classes until 2021. But first, here's the latest on COVID-19 with Leslie Gallagher. Leslie, take it away.
Thank you, George. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about. So starting out with some U.S. news, in his last daily briefing, President Trump indicated that he is considering putting a hold on funding the World Health Organization on Tuesday. The president stated that the United States funds the majority of the organization's budget. The United States provided nearly 15% of its funding in 2018 to 2019. The World Health Organization has been the most prominent global organization to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. Trump criticized the World Health Organization as slow to respond to the crisis and repeatedly said the organization has been China-centric. His announcement came as his administration had been under fire due to the response to the pandemic. As we all know, supermarkets have remained open during the pandemic since they are considered essential. However, to slow the spread, NJ.com is reporting that grocery stores in New Jersey have taken action regarding the amount of people allowed in stores, as well as how many of a certain item a customer can purchase. Items such as hand sanitizer, toilet paper, over-the-counter medicines, and cleaning supplies have been limited to a certain amount per customer. Also, on April 8th, Governor Phil Murphy signed a new executive order to enforce a new rule that all store employees must wear a mask and gloves. Businesses are required to provide this equipment for employees. The order also included that stores limit the amount of customers to 50% of the store's capacity to help flatten the curve. Many universities are considering that students may not be returning back to their classrooms until 2021. According to CNN, numerous schools have taken action in terms of making all summer classes online, but what about for the fall semester? Boston University has a coronavirus recovery plan that officials deem it unsafe to return to in-person learning for the fall semester. They state that classes would continue to be held remotely throughout fall. In an online statement, the school stated it will offer summer courses online, and they plan to continue providing minimal housing and dining services that are currently available. CNN is also reporting that Sesame Street is doing their best to help children during this difficult time. Childhood favorites Elmo, Cookie Monster, and Grover, joined by Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda, Blackish star Tracy Ellis Ross, and actress Hannah Hathaway on the show to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. The special features the characters as they try to go about new ways to play together given the constraints of social distancing. The program also teaches children the huge role of EMTs and doctors during the public health crisis. They line up the mood with Manuel Miranda singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm and Hathaway singing Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes with Elmo. New episodes of the show air currently on HBO. From furry friends to Jersey stars, New Jersey-based celebrities are coming together next week to help raise money for the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund. The fund announced Tuesday that stars of music, TV, and sports will converge virtually from home at a concert and benefit called Jersey for Jersey. The lineup includes Bruce Springsteen, Whoopi Goldberg, Danny DeVito, Chris Rock, John Bon Jovi, Kelly Ripa, Jon Stewart, SZA, Halsey, and more. First Lady Tammy Murphy commented that New Jersey is on the front lines of this pandemic, making it more important than ever for us to do what Jersey does best, take care of one another. That's why we're asking everyone in our state to join the NJPRF and some of New Jersey's finest for much-needed musical entertainment, levity, and Jersey pride during these uncertain times. Jersey for Jersey will air at 7 p.m. Eastern Time next Wednesday, April 22nd on various TV outlets. Whether you're a high school senior or college senior, you may have lost a big part of your schooling this year. According to bbb.org, it may not be wise to share your senior portraits online. It may seem harmless, but scammers or hackers who surf through social media sites will see hashtag class of 2020 posts and will now have the name of your high school and graduation year, which are common online security questions. Better Business Bureau cautions everyone to be aware of what they are sharing. Even if you think it's going to your friends, it could also be going somewhere else. To stay safe, people are encouraged to review their security questions on all social media platforms to see what they're sharing and who you're sharing that with. Moving on to weather. Today it's partly cloudy outside with a high 52, a low of 38 with a 0% chance of rain. Today we have a 50% chance humidity and a sunset at 7:35 p.m. and a cool night. This concludes your news update for Wednesday, April 15th for WMC. I'm Leslie Gallagher.
Thank you very much, Leslie. And now we are going to bring you to Julia Ryan with the Code Visualizer. Julia?
Yes, hello, thank you. So COVID Visualizer, the big scary map of doom, but it's okay. So today, along with the I'm sorry, my computer is lagging like crazy. So in the United States of America, there are 360 new cases. As of right now, there are about 500,000 active cases and 17 new deceased cases for today. Going on to Spain up next. There are about 88,000 active cases, and as of today, there are 3,500 new cases and 324 new deceased cases. And then going on to Russia, there are 22,000 active cases and 3,300 new cases and 28 new deceased cases as of today, which is growing, but less than a month ago, Russia's state-controlled media showed President Vladimir Putin talking about how the country managed to contain the new coronavirus and keep the situation under control. Russia had only a few dozen officially reported cases then. A week later, Russia even sent planes loaded with medical aid to struggling Italy and then to the United States and Serbia. But Russia has now seen a surge in COVID-19 infections, and Putin's tone has become much less optimistic since then. But on to China, continuing to report active cases, but not to the extent we were seeing worldwide. There are currently 1,100 active cases, 46 new cases today, and one new deceased today. But in other COVID-19 news, the International Monetary Fund predicted the worst global economic downturn since the Great Depression. They are forecasting the economy will contract by 3% in 2020. And our friends at Newsdive have a scheduled interview with Dr. Hal Ravender, a professor in the School of Business who specializes on supply chain. It is obvious that due to the global pandemic, some of the supply chain links are broken, but you can tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. for all the information.
Thank you very much, Julia. So moving on to our first news story of the day, Apple and Google have a clever way of encouraging people to install contact tracing apps for COVID-19. And this is coming from TheVerge.com. So Apple and Google have been working on a system to enable widespread contact tracing through cellular devices in order to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. The effort is barely 2.5 weeks old, the company said, and so there are many open questions about how it's going to work. The basic idea is that as jurisdictions flatten the curve of infection and begin to consider reopening parts of society, they will need to implement a comprehensive test and trace scheme. You want to test people widely and thoroughly for the disease. And then, as you discover new cases, you want to see who those people may have come in contact with during the time that they were infectious. Historically, this has been a manual process. Since the COVID-19 outbreak began, some countries have turned to technological means in an effort to enable public health authorities to find more people who may have been exposed and do so more efficiently. So far, it's not clear that tech-enabled contact tracing has been all that effective. The system relies on voluntary participation, which has generally been weak, and the Bluetooth technology on which the system depends carries with it a high potential for false positives. It's just not powerful enough to distinguish between cases where people were in very close proximity from ones in which they were 15 or more feet away. The two companies said that by phase 2 of their effort, they want to be able to distribute an operating system that allows contact tracing. This is more preferable than relying on the public to download the software. The goal is to notify people who have opted to their potential exposure to COVID-19. The operating system itself will alert people that they may have been exposed and direct them to download the relevant app from their public health authority. More information can be found on TheVerge.com. It does raise questions of privacy, security, and how they're going to deal with HIPAA laws, which is very, very true, because given with this, you never know. So.
But on to the next story. Universities begin considering the possibility of canceling in-person classes until 2021. Schools have already started canceling summer classes and activities, but schools like Boston University now have recovery plans, including a protocol if it's not deemed safe to return to in-person classes in the fall. Classes would continue online with minimal housing and food options for students that do need it, though. Um, if you were tuned in on Monday's Buzz, you may have seen this happen live. We are actually joined by our Morning Buzz assistant producer and host of the Monday and Friday Buzz. He was live on Monday and all of a sudden he froze and disappeared, but he's alive. We're okay. We are joined by Ryan Trick. Ryan, thank goodness you're okay. And
Yeah, I'm glad to be okay.
Morning,
Yep.
Ryan. How you doing?
Morning. I've been better, but I've been worse, George. I'll be honest with you. So, yeah, Monday's show was it was
Roller coaster.
it was a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, needless to say. So it was interesting. So what happened was I was in the middle of the show, and we were probably about 5 minutes away from giving an interview. And I was supposed to conduct the interview, and all of a sudden, all my lights went out, and my computer went dim, and everybody froze. My internet got cut out in the middle of the show. So,
I'm sure you were
yeah,
feeling a little bit panicked about that. You were like,
I was a little
Terrifying.
panicked. Working on the Buzz has been during this time has been uh unique. I guess is a way to put it. It's been tough, if I'm going to be completely honest. Normally the show is on when we're just on terrestrial radio over in school communications at the actual studio. The show's on from 8 to 10, but just by nature of how we've been running the show, it has its ups and downs. We've been running it on video, which is awesome. It's a cool new format. It gives people
Mhm.
a better way to tune in and also to interact with us. But it's also one of the downs is we, instead of going live at 8 o'clock, we actually joined for a meeting about the show at 8 o'clock, and from 8 to 9 we're prepping, making sure all our visual stuff works. So it's been a time, and of course we have problems like I ran into.
Right, and I do have to attest, Ryan. Being that you were my co-host last semester, I have to say you're really good at the job. And honestly, it's so great working with you because you're so professional and you always have an outlet for any kind of situation. So, but you were made the assistant producer,
Yeah.
um, just last semester or this semester, and as assistant producer, you've been kind of on the session every, let's say, single day, and that means you are actually live every day, so no sleeping late for you, which is
No sleeping late for me. It was great. Just this past Saturday, was like the first day, in, I want to say over a month and a half, I think, that I actually got to sleep in late. I have insomnia, so it's hard for me to sleep anyways, but I actually finally got to sleep in late because it was the weekend and I actually had nothing to do.
How late did
Um,
you actually sleep?
oh, I slept till probably about 11:30.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Because some people are
which is
like,
really
yeah.
good for me.
yeah.
But no, it's been good. I like to think of myself as a morning person. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be assistant morning buzz producer. I really enjoyed doing the morning buzz. I love being on air,
Hmm.
and yeah. But the one downside is you're right. I never get to sleep in anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we actually are having some problems with Facebook too. Unfortunately, we are supposed to be live, but Zoom is struggling to keep up with updates. So oftentimes we are blocked from being live, which is frustrating. But you do like to keep it positive. So what
Yeah.
would you say is positive about this way of doing the buzz? Or personally for you, how does being live and present every day mean, or how has it improved your producing skills?
Well, like I said earlier, there are always ups and downs to kind of changing around formats and whatnot. Like you said today, we're not live on Facebook, and that is a problem that we literally ran into, I would say 5 minutes before the show started. And it's I was saying earlier, with when I had my problem on Monday, And I've been saying this for a long time, no matter what, the show must go on. So just because we're not live on Facebook doesn't mean, oh, well, maybe we'll cancel the show for today or push it back. It's no, you know what? We're not live on Facebook. Whatever. We apologize to the people who can't, tune in that way. And we thank the people who are tuning in on iHeartRadio or watching on YouTube later on. Um, and, I think it's improved producing wise. Before this, I was just I always joked around in the office. I'd say I'm but a lowly DJ. I didn't really. The only show I produced was mine,
Hmm.
which was just a music show, um, and with a little bit of talk thrown in there. And it's a really big step up, I think. So not only I feel like has it just improved my producing skills and dealing with problems that might arise, but also, you know, speaking of COVID, and speaking of problems, man, that was a huge curveball for the Morning Buzz. We took like a 2 or 3 week hiatus, and we were actually thinking like, maybe we just will cancel it until we come back. But we realized people want to listen to it, and hope you like people like you guys want to do it. You want to make it. So, you know, like I said, the show must go on, and I think that's really helped my skills too, and
Yeah,
it's been fun.
and totally, I feel like with everything, you did have some photos that of the mess of the storm that left your house.
Oh yeah.
And
So, I'll let me see if I can pull those up real quick. So, what happened was, as I said, we were in the middle of the show, and all of a sudden, I hear. Can you guys see my screen? All right.
yeah,
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
like I said, I was in the middle of the show, and we're probably about 5 minutes away from giving an interview, and all of a sudden, I'm mid sentence. By the way, when this happens.
Of course.
Um, we're mid conversation, and I cut out. All my lights blow out. My computer goes dim because it gets unplugged, and everybody else freezes because my internet went down. If you can see here, kind of in the image, I don't know if you can see my mouse over here,
Yeah.
but my power lines. It didn't just knock out the power lines to the street. It actually ripped the power lines off the side of my house. My whole street got power like about noon that day. We didn't get power until late last night or early this morning. Um, the power lines got torn off the side of my house. It tore some siding off of my house, ripped the power box off. And by the way, all this time, it was raining out. So we had trouble getting an electrician out here, and we saw that all the power people had trouble kind of setting everything up. It was a real you know nightmare, honestly. The pole up here at the kind of the top, you can't really see it because I couldn't get everything in the shot, but the top of the pole was actually on fire a little bit,
Oh
and
my
the
gosh.
transformer a few minutes later actually like exploded. So there was a lot going on. There were uh fire people and police officers lined up outside my house.
Oh my
It was a real
gosh.
episode. And by the way, meanwhile, I'm posting these pictures in the Morning Buzz chat for WMSC's Discord,
Mm.
and I'm just saying like, well, this is what's happening. I'm texting Annabella just apologizing profusely, like saying I'm sorry, couldn't help it. It was a whole situation. It was crazy. But I will have to say, the worst part, just about a year ago, less than a year ago, actually, I got a car. It was my first car, a nice VW Passat. Her name was Zelda, and I say was because about 5 minutes after I took this picture, I heard another loud cracking, and it was another large part of the tree that took down the power lines. I heard another loud cracking and a loud bang, and then I heard my dad go, Ryan, it hit the cars. And there's my little,
Oh.
there's my Passat,
Oh.
For those of you listening, I'll paint a little picture for you. It is a beautiful white uh, VW Passat, just sitting there elegantly with a large tree sitting on top of it. Um, if you can see towards the bottom, it was literally pushing the front of my car down to the ground. It hugely dented the front of it. It completely blew out the back window.
Oh my
It didn't
gosh.
just break it; the back window exploded out. By the way, all this time it was raining, so I actually took these pictures like later when it stopped raining. Um, so meanwhile, the entire time while it's raining, my car is just getting flooded with like broken glass and water.
Oh my
And
god.
later, when we got the trees off, I was able to see the damage to the front of the car. So, this car was less than a year old. I think it was about 9 months old. Um, and needless to say, it did not survive the impact. The biggest problem that we ran into was actually the water damage. Because we couldn't. My dad and I later covered it up with like a makeshift tarp out of plastic bags, like the back window, so that it wouldn't no more rain would get in. But at that point, there's too much water damage, and this last picture I'll show was one I took yesterday. The car was, officially totaled yesterday, and they came to my little side street and towed it away. So it was very sad.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
playing sad music out of my phone.
Oh,
But yeah, honestly, all in all, I'm just, you know, thanking that I wasn't in it. Before the show started, I was actually thinking about running out to my car and grabbing my car charger, um, just to bring it inside because it's just a USB cord, and I haven't been driving my car much at all, because of the pandemic. So, I'm just thinking like I didn't go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tempt the universe to make that tree fall early. So, yeah, it was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Oh my
It was
gosh.
kind of a bummer to say the least. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was my whole epidemic from yesterday.
wow. And
Annabella sharing some dramatic music. It was a
unfortunately,
cold and rainy morning. I had run out of coffee, and that's when it started.
it's like a dramatic story that fishermen tell, you know?
Yeah, it really was. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, look, with all this adventure, I don't want to describe it like that, but how are you optimistic? Like, how do you stay positive in these times?
Well, so I've always tried to find the good in things. I feel like that's the best thing people can do, especially today. With everything happening, we're surrounded by, like, to be honest, we're surrounded by just bad, just for lack of a better word, just crappy news. Like, there's no other way to put it. Really, just bad news. And I always try and find the good and stuff because I feel like that's the only way that you can kind of make it through the day sometimes. Um, I always look for positive stories that we can share on the buzz since I'm up every morning anyways. Um, and it helps me too. And a big thing that I've always tried to do is I always try and find 7 good things in every day. Um, Even if you had just the worst day on the face of the planet, I can guarantee you there will always be something good that comes out of that day. Um, Even if it's a good cup of coffee, that's kind of what, um, you know, made me realize that there's something good in every day. I was in high school and I was just, I'm not afraid to say I went to therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and, I was just having trouble finding anything good in any day. And my therapist told me, try and find 7 good things about every day. And I'm like, I can't find anything good today. Today was terrible. And she's like, what'd you do? you went to school early. Did you grab anything on the way there? Breakfast?" I'm like, "I had a cup of coffee." She's like, "How was the coffee?" I'm like, "That's a pretty good cup of coffee." She's like, "There's one." It's stuff like that. It's just basic little things like that. That's kind of how I've been trying to stay positive. Even when my car is totaled, every day before the show, I have I have a cup of tea
Oh,
before the
same.
show.
I'm with
Yep,
you.
and that's I had a good cup of tea this morning. I had it. Boom. There's a positive thing. Another positive thing. I wasn't in the car when that happened.
There you
That's
go.
a pretty easy one.
Like, you're not
It's just stuff
replaceable.
like that. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Um, and Ryan, can I have you as my therapist?
I am not a certified therapist, no, but I do like to try and you know help people with the whole yeah, with the whole it's like I said, it's simple stuff like that, just trying to find positive stuff in every day.
Mhm.
That's what I hope we do on the buzz too. We try and find
Hmm.
funny stories or positive stories. I know we have some really good stories coming up next, but yeah.
Right. And was there a moment where you thought that are the seven plagues next?
I was sure hoping the plagues were not coming next because man, it would have been really hard to find good stuff for the rest of the day. Annabella kills me with her music. Uh, it was a very dramatic scene, and it was a very difficult day. I think the craziest part about the day was if so like I said, our power didn't come back on for a while. So being in if we weren't in quarantine, it wouldn't have been a super huge issue. Normally my dad and I would have just been like, okay, well he works from home anyways, and I have a lot of work to do, whether it be for radio or mostly my classes. We would have just gotten a hotel for the day, or would have gone over to a friend's house or Starbucks and just stayed in Starbucks to work for the day. But everything's closed. I certainly didn't want to go to a hotel, so I was basically trying to do my homework and email um, my professors for the rest of the show or for the rest of the day. And it was just, it was crazy. And I think the biggest challenge that I saw was, well, there were two things. Recently, because of groceries going out, I didn't want to, I we don't want to go to grocery stores
Hmm.
with groceries and going out shopping. So I actually went just a week or so ago. I went out for a huge grocery shop and like stocked up on non-perishables and also perishables and whatnot, sandwich meats, whatever. So the problem was our power went out, and surely enough, our fridge was not being powered. So I'm sitting
Mm.
here thinking, all right, we have about, what is it, 18 to 24 hours is the timeline before stuff goes bad if your power goes out. So I'm sitting here thinking, if we don't get our power back on soon, I just wasted, to be totally honest, I wasted over $300 worth of stuff in our fridge, of perishable stuff, like meats and stuff in our freezer and whatnot. So I'm freaking out about that. Thankfully, everything was fine. We got our power back on soon enough. But another problem was my car got totaled. And, I don't need to go driving anytime soon. I have nowhere
Hmm.
to go. But I went for a walk with my dad because him and I like to go for walks around town. And there's a VW dealership in the town. And we walked by just to just take a peek at like other used cars. And it was kind of, I don't want to say so, not really sobering, but it was kind of just like weird to see that the place was closed. Because by the time we went for a walk, normally we would have, every time we walk by and just look at the used cars, you always have a car sales guy come up to you and be like, "Hey, you interested in buying a car?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just window shopping, sir." And we walked by and they had signs up saying we're temporarily closed due to COVID. And they still had cars out on the lot, but maybe like half as many. And I kind of realized like, huh, you know, uh, even when I get the check from the insurance company, I'm not going to have a car for a while.
Mhm.
So there were a couple. It was weird doing this whole thing during quarantine, but like I said, the show must go on. I still had stuff to do, so I went over to my girlfriend's house. Thankfully, I've been healthy. They've been healthy, so we've had, I was able to go over and get work done there and whatnot.
Mhm.
But it hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. But hey, I mean, look, with the power of positivity, things can go a long way, and that's what you're bringing to the table every day. So,
Trying my best.
mhm,
Yep.
totally. And so, I think maybe we should. I don't know if we're going to go into the next story, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Ryan,
definitely.
please stay because we love you.
Yeah, man, I'd be happy to stay. You guys, Annabella has trouble keeping me off air, so I will gladly stay.
You are an IBS nominated talent.
Ah, no, nah. I'm but a lowly DJ. But yeah, definitely.
All right, so we do want to. Should we go to the Locust song or should we go back to the next story?
I think the Locust song has had its time. Although I would not be surprised if Annabella pulls it back up anytime soon.
Okay.
Like that TikTok song she keeps playing during
Da,
meetings.
da, 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 da. Yeah. If anyone has a dog, they should just do it straight up. I don't.
I do not have a dog. I wish I
I don't
did.
either.
My dog's in
Oh, God.
Texas right now with my grandparents. But yeah, what do we got next?
Well, I think we should go into the next story, I presume. All right, here we go. So some colleges are considering canceling in-person classes until 2021 over the coronavirus.
Ugh.
So some college students may not be able to return to campus until 2021. And at Boston University, all in-person classes and other academic activities have already been canceled during the summer term, and remote classes will take place, and minimal housing and dining services will be available. The goal is to reopen classes in the fall, but the university is prepared for the possibility that it may not happen again, it said in an online statement. So the recovery plan recognizes that if in the unlikely event that public health officials deem it unsafe to open in the fall of 2020, then the university's contingency plan envisions the need to consider a later in-person return, perhaps in January 2021. And nearby Harvard University, one of the first institutions to send students home amid the outbreak, officials are weighing in lots of different scenarios for the fall semester. That university is focused on the fall, but they also added that by the time decisions have to be made about enrollment and teaching, there will still be a tremendous amount of uncertainty. And it is also unclear what the fall semester will hold at the University of Arizona. There's a statement that they put out saying that we are cautiously optimistic that the fall semester will be able to launch with the normal face-to-face campus experience, but of course we'll prioritize the health and well-being of our community in the making of this decision. A fall return is also uncertain at Oregon State University, said spokesman Steve Clark shared. Only the novel coronavirus will determine what happens. We can hope for a full return in fall 2020, but hope it is not a strategy. So that is why we're going to prepare as best we can for every possible contingency. And how does this guys make you feel? Because given that we're Montclair, and we what if this happens to us, the stamp at MSU? Because
Uh,
Leslie, I know you're an underclassman. Ryan, I think, are you coming back next year?
yeah, I'm coming back for one more semester.
Mm.
And that would be crazy. I'll be honest, I'm having difficulties with my classes just right now, being online. It's been a weird transition. I'm not used to it.
Same here. It's a lot more time consuming, and I don't feel a connection as much with my professors and classmates. And I feel like it's a big part of the college experience is like being in the classroom and doing those hands-on activities and things like radio and like learning about all of the things that we learn here. And I don't know, it's just like it's very different. I'd be pretty bummed out if it was online next semester, but if it's for the safety of everyone else, then it makes sense.
Yeah, and personally for me, it's like a weird kind of alternative to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. You know what I mean? Like living in my PJs,
Yep.
waking up early on Fridays. You know.
Exactly. It's weird. I mean, so I was, I've been talking about this with friends and whatnot. I understand that even after this whole thing is over, um, people aren't necessarily going to be extremely comfortable, I think, going out to concerts and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
immediately afterwards, or, going into the city, just because of the nature of everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just classes not even returning, that that's something I'm still not used to. I'm used to staying at home at this point, I think. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I've grown accustomed to it. Yeah.
It gives me an
It's
excuse not to go out, honestly.
exactly.
I'm
I've
not gonna
found that
lie,
my
it's
dad and I are
nice.
saving a lot of money
Yeah, that
actually,
Yeah.
too.
because we're not going out to eat,
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
I don't know.
Online
I think
shopping
it'd be
though.
weird. Yeah, online shopping's a little
Yeah,
tough. I'll
that's
be
getting me a
honest.
little bit.
I've been buying a lot of manga recently.
Yeah.
My collector's itch is it's bad. But no, apart from that, I mean, I think, even though we're used to staying at home, for me at least, I'm still not used to online classes.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
it
don't
is
know
really hard.
how we would deal with that, if everything was switched over for MSU.
Hmm. Like, I don't
yeah.
know about you guys, but like, at least for me, like, I'm fine being home. I love being home. It's where I live. It's fine. But actually doing classes online, I feel like I'm doing so much work, but like not really getting anything out of it, if that makes any sense. Like, I still
Yeah.
feel like there's so much I have to do. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but like, I'll be on the computer like Wednesdays, like a full day for me. So like, I'll do
Yeah, we were
literally
talking
this.
about that before
Yeah,
the
like,
show. I
yeah,
have a
we have
12-hour day
classes.
on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's
It's the same
crazy.
with you,
Like,
yeah.
and we just have like a bunch of homework, a bunch of classes we have to go to, but I still feel like I'm so behind in the whole class, like in the class itself. Like, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm not really as engaged as I would be if we
Yeah.
were actually in class, which is what I'm worried about, because this is my last semester. It's not like I can like get this back like next semester, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
What
we
about
all
you, Leslie?
I was just gonna say, I think we all had that like hope that like we would return to some normalcy like summer and fall. And now that we're hearing that we may not be in fall, I think we're all just like, oh no, this is not ending. Like this is still happening. And that was kind of a reality check for me. So yeah. Just,
I think it's just a reality check for everyone,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I mean, students, they're if they keep complaining about online delivery and tuition, how do you think this is going to affect the university's decisions? Like, obviously, there are cost-related issues in moving education online, and does it affect professors' timelines too? I would think so,
Mhm.
definitely.
Ryan, are you okay?
I am all right. So
What's happening?
Annabella knows. Yeah, she just told me to go for it. Yeah, so Annabella knows this question gets me heated. I get furious when I hear that students want a refund on tuition
I
because they
agree.
didn't want classes to be online. All right, first off, I'm sorry. Grow up. This is I don't think anybody wanted classes to be online. Certainly not the university.
Hmm.
I know a lot of professors, a lot of my professors have been really struggling with their
Hmm.
classes being online, and they're not asking for extra pay. If anything, a lot of professors are being cut. You
Yeah.
know, sorry, right now the university is struggling to just operate. So no, I don't. I, with students complaining about tuition being online, here's my take on it. Yeah, it's hard for us. I'm
Hmm.
certainly not going to be the first one to say this is easier. We just talked about that. It's hard, man. It is. I'm falling behind, and I feel like I'm working twice as hard,
Exactly.
since my
Mhm.
class is being online. But I'm not going to ask for a tuition refund because I'm still getting an education. I,
Exactly. It's not like they planned it. It's not
yeah,
like this is like, oh, like we're just canceling classes, so this is it. Like,
yeah.
no, this
My
is
message to
literally
people is
everywhere.
here's my message to people. If you want a refund on the remainder of your semester, then the university should absolutely give it to you if you're fine dropping the rest of your classes and taking a huge fat WD on your transcript for every class that you want for the semester. Go right ahead,
I agree.
but other than that, just tough it out. It's not
Hmm.
impossible. It's hard, but it is not impossible. So I'm still getting an education. As hard as my media criticism class is, and I mean, it was hard before it was online, I'm still taking it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask for a refund because online or in person, that class is fascinating. I'm learning so much from it, like really getting into like just detail. And the coronavirus, if
Hmm.
anything, has helped us get into more detail about the stuff that we're learning in that class.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna I don't understand why people want a tuition refund. Housing, I completely understand. I'm actually filling out my housing refund thing today after the show.
Yeah. Same with
But
parking permits. Like anything that has to do with
yeah,
on campus, like meal plans and stuff, that is understandable because
totally
we're not on
reasonable.
campus. But if for tuition, we are still learning. So there's no reason that people should be getting refunds for it, like at
Yeah,
all. Like that's just, I agree with you completely.
yeah. So, I mean, it yeah, there's my rant for the day. But
Well,
no, it really I don't understand. To any students who are listening to this who were thinking like, yeah, we should get a tuition refund, I want you to actually think about what you're asking for. You're literally
mhm,
asking for a refund on something you're still using.
exactly.
That's like asking for a free meal at a restaurant once you're done eating it.
Yep.
You're like you finish your burger and you're halfway through your fries and you're like, can I
It
get a
wasn't what I,
refund on this
it wasn't
burger?
really what I wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
full
wasn't
stop,
really what I want. I
diamond
kind of
dash.
wanted the
Yep.
salad, but you're
Yep.
done with it. I don't understand.
Rants with Ryan 101.
Rants with
Yeah.
Ryan 101. That'll be a new
That
bit on
that
the
should be a
Morning
new
Buzz.
show, honestly.
Like,
Oh,
I'd listen in totally.
I
it's kind
join
of
you
like
because
Ben.
I
It's
agree.
on the Buzz. We used to have a bit called Ben's message to the Patriots. Because he would always go on rants about the Patriots. So we literally just dedicated a segment of the Buzz where Ben would rant to the Patriots. It was hilarious.
that's funny.
It was a
But
good
I mean,
time.
that's kind of my take on it. I mean, it again, news lab students are asking to continue through the summer, also, and professors are basically like, if anything, donating their time
Hmm.
to give them more, chances, more content. Um, the rant was probably to Luke Combs. um, no, it's crazy. How do you guys think the station's doing? I already talked about how the morning buzz is, how we've been holding up. What do you guys think of the new format? I mean, George, you're a huge sports guy. I know doing sports shows has probably been difficult. And
Yeah.
Julia, I mean, you have, you know, we were talking about your internship before the
Yeah.
show started. How do you guys think this is going to affect like the world of radio? I think it'll press on, but I'd like to see what you guys think.
Right. Like I think, right now we're doing well, Zoom wise. Or, like I think the format's nice. Um, especially since there's other sports shows like watching the Yes Network, the Michael K show, or MLB Network. Like I'm a baseball fan, so I watch those shows. So a lot of them they're using Zoom, they're doing it from home, but they have their mic set up. It's like watching a podcaster with a mic and like saying, "Hey everyone, welcome," you know, ASMR, now. But no, I think as a sports guy, I saw our friend Jared Alvarez, who was an intern with the men's basketball team this semester. He's doing a podcast, so he's getting a lot of guests, and which is great. So you just gotta keep on going, and if anything, I want to be a part of any magic that's going on because I love sports and I want to do something with my time. So yeah.
I really think the whole thing is really difficult, in my opinion. I know I'm not allowed to go to my internship anymore, and I'm like on a 90-day leave. So when that's over, it's basically the internship's over, and I'm graduating. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get back in there, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But I know the radio world will continue. I'm actually working with Josh to bring back alternative reality for the last couple of weeks of the semester. So hopefully we'll be back up soon. But yeah, I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All right. Good. I like the thoughts there. So I do want to move on to sports. I'm a sports guy. I'm actually wearing my New Jersey Devils t-shirt that I got, which is awesome. We're going to move on to the NFL draft because that is what everyone is looking forward to. So the NFL mock draft 4.0, Mel Kiper's 2-round predictions for Herbert, Tagovailoa, I can't say his last name, and more. So 2 rounds, 64 picks. So we're going to jump into this NFL mock draft 4.0, projecting first and second round picks. So we're just over a week away from round 1, which is going to be on Thursday, April 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And there will be a few changes, but in the first 32 picks. But certainly there's going to be a lot of, certainly for football fans. I mean, Tua, who is the quarterback for Alabama, the Crimson Tide, a lot of people are risking, where is he going to go? Because he was a huge part in Alabama's season, although 2 years ago, and he was injured this year, but certainly there is a lot of thought to where he is going to go. And I think it means for non-sports people, especially with Ryan, I know.
And Meg, I have no idea what you're
Julia
talking about
and Leslie.
at all. That's why I was like, yeah, you can cover this one because I have no idea. I was like,
Sports.
yes, he took the lead because I don't know.
Kick the puck through the net for 3 points.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Yeah, so yeah, there was a lot of sports jargon I dropped on you. Sorry about that. But as someone that is a sports fan that's looking forward to the NFL draft, it's just personally with the mock draft going on that, and we actually had Nick Flaherty and Sean Martin, who are our 2 former sports guys, since graduated, but they went down to Dallas 1 year to cover the NFL draft. So it means that for the league, and they have prohibited all pre-draft visits between prospects and teams because of the coronavirus pandemic. But we are still looking forward to day 1 of the draft, which kicks off April 23rd. So it's all going to be systems go. But it's just going to be something that we're all going to look forward to. So Joe Burrow, the quarterback from LSU, Chase Young from Ohio State, the Buckeyes. There have been plenty of players that are willing to – oh, boy. Yeah, I understand.
Literally me.
Yeah. Well, look.
For you audio listeners there, check out the recording on YouTube if you would like to see the visual joke Annabella just threw at us.
Totally.
Yes.
But no, I mean, like, even as a non-sports guy, George, I totally, I mean, I do get what you mean. I don't follow sports much at all. I follow esports. But I am fully aware that the NFL draft is huge. It is a huge deal. It's all over the news that's not on like non-sports channels, just because of how, important it is.
Mhm.
So it's cool to see that they're doing a mock draft.
Yeah, and it's all about fantasy. Like,
Yeah.
That's what's so good about sports. But we are going to move along to some good news.
Speaking of sports,
Big Papi David Ortiz from the Boston Red Sox, former world champion, and John Krasinski from The Office. They surprised Boston hospital workers with free Red Sox tickets for life.
yes.
And
Awesome.
we're going to play a video right here from a thank you from both people, both Krasinski and David Ortiz.
This is the Good News Network. Having some a little bit of audio trouble, however. The visuals here are fantastic. John Krasinski,
Amazing.
basically just thanking pictures and pictures of
unit. Hi guys.
people.
I cannot articulate how unbelievably honored I am to be seeing you guys, to be here with you guys inside your hospital, inside where all this is going on, and to see you guys actually cheerful and joyful is a near impossibility and brings tears to my eyes. I also have heard that you guys are Red Sox fans. Is that true?
Yeah.
I got a double pump from somebody. There was a double pump. I know we're all missing baseball season, but that doesn't mean that I can't bring baseball to you. Your surprise is actually a surprise for me. He is a hero of mine, and I hope a hero of yours. Yeah!
Basically, he comes in and says and surprises them with tickets for life, which is awesome.
Totally.
Like I
That's
can't
crazy.
imagine. It's crazy because I feel like up until this pandemic, a lot of healthcare professionals um, obviously are appreciated, but because of this pandemic, people are finally like really kind of lifting them up,
Yeah,
as like heroes.
which they should
Um,
be.
yeah, which they are already.
Hmm.
I actually had a whole conversation with my dad about it, but we have a little more audio for you.
Your surprise is actually a surprise for me. He is a hero of mine, and I hope a hero of yours. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, David Ortiz.
How you guys doing? Hey, I gotta tell you guys from the very bottom of my heart how much I love you and respect you for what you guys are doing. Taking your life, taking your time. That's something that it goes beyond everything. So the Red Sox are gonna donate 4 tickets for life.
What?
Yes.
You and everybody at Beth Israel.
Yes. Now, you tell them how long you been waiting to get tickets for the Red Sox.
I thought I was a big deal, but I've been waiting on the wait list for 16 years, and I've still heard nothing. So I might be able to get Big Papi, but I don't get the Big Papi treatment. That's for sure.
Hey, don't worry, we are buddies, so I got you.
Thank you. Finally, I know somebody.
We are a city of
Outside the hospital, okay? Love you guys. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the most sanitized duck boat in America.
Wow. That is just. I mean,
I love seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I might be a Yankee fan, but Big Papi, he's known to give back, so that's certainly, a great act on his part, as well as John Krasinski. And
Hmm.
I do see with doctors and healthcare workers that it reminds me of after the 9/11 attacks, how firefighters and police officers in New York, they were getting the same hero treatment as the doctors are getting now today. So it's something that you see a lot.
Yeah. And like I said, there's just plenty of just good news and people
Mhm.
asking for things and people coming through for it.
Yeah, and ask and you shall receive. Talking about ask and you shall receive,
The transitions.
There we go. Good
the
job,
grandma
George.
in Pennsylvania, beer, yeah.
Yeah, she just asked for it and people gave it to her.
Amazing.
She what is it? She 93-year-old Pittsburgh woman. She went viral posting a picture of herself holding up a can of beer in her window and a little whiteboard sign saying, "I need more beer." And 2 representatives of the company of was it Coors Light, I believe, just came to her house and was like, "Hey, we brought you beer." And in the next image that you'll see in a second, literally they brought her cases,
Like
like
10 pieces.
stacking up to her height of just
Oh
nothing but yeah.
Nothing but
There's
Coors
the
Light.
image. She's literally resting her arm for you audio listeners. She is resting her arm on a mountain of cases of Coors Light on her porch, just drinking.
She seems
And
very
she
happy.
posted another little sign saying, "Got more beer."
It's like, remember the old Coors Light advertisements where you had the train that would go through the town, and
Yep.
then that's exactly what happened to her house.
That's basically what happened. Representatives came through and they're like, "She needs some. Here you go. Drink responsibly, of course." But
$5
that's
somewhere.
hilarious to me. It's just funny stuff like that, man. That really just makes this quarantine like there's a bunch of funny, just good stuff in this
Hmm.
quarantine like that. I mean, yeah, drink responsibly if you are of legal age. We want to throw that out there into
Yes,
the world.
definitely.
There are a
Definitely.
lot of as a
Leslie,
college student,
on you.
I feel safe saying that a lot of us may be smart, but we are not that smart sometimes. we, so please just make good choices, good
Making
legal,
choices.
positive choices.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna that'll be a rant for another day.
Mhm. And if you can get one thing delivered, like whatever it is during this quarantine, what would it be? I think
Oh,
Good question.
it has to
Oh,
be
I
local.
already know. I've literally been talking about this with my mom for like 2 weeks. I want
Really?
a trampoline so bad. Like literally, I've been talking about it, and like every single time, I'm like, Mom, we should just get another one because we used to have them. And I was like, I miss it. I just want it. It'll be great for workout, and it'll keep me occupied. So
yeah. If it's
that's what I would
free,
get.
this is gonna be super nerdy. I've been watching My Hero Academia, and reading wise, um, I've been reading the manga, but I'm like down by like 15 of them. There's like 15 more I need to buy. If I could get those for free, because they're like $10 a piece. It's like $150, man. I'm not down to blow $150 in quarantine, but
No,
like
no.
if that just showed up at my door, I'd be set. I'd be totally content. Yeah. What
I'm,
about you, Leslie?
um, I'm like really hungry right now, and I was also just thinking I've got like food on the brain just from like I can't drink beer, and even so, if I could have anything delivered, it'd be like freshly made egg bagels because
Oh,
I love bagels and I haven't had them in so long. I was living on campus, and there's no like good bagels.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah.
sorry,
The
Gonka.
one thing that I realized stores sold out of, it wasn't just toilet paper and paper towels. I actually went to ShopRite, and and this blew my mind until I realized, well, we live in New Jersey, so why am I surprised? We were completely out of bagels and out of Taylor ham.
Wait, do you call it Taylor ham or pork roll?
All
Oh
right,
boy.
that's another rant for another
Let's
day.
No, I
I'm
know.
gonna
Both.
admit that.
call whatever you want to
Oh,
call it.
I call it pork butt. Judge me.
We're not friends anymore.
Oh, George, what about you?
Well,
Final thoughts.
you know what? I love ice cream. As you guys probably know, with me bringing in Ben and Jerry's to the station almost
Yep.
every day, but I would love if like an ice cream truck would just pull up and just get all the ice cream that you want.
Yep.
Just
I miss ice cream trucks too.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about like the
Those
ice
should
cream
be an
man?
essential service.
Mhm.
No.
That's my take on quarantine. Why aren't cream trucks deemed an essential service? You're not just delivering food, you're delivering happiness.
Really,
There you go.
Exactly.
it'd be good
My
for
2
kids
cents.
and us who are full adults, but we want ice cream too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is the top of the hour here on 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey. Thank you guys for having me on. It was fun to
Of
talk
course.
with you.
It
You're
was
welcome.
fun.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
You're
coming
such a
on.
Yeah.
joy, a positive light.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
George, why don't you close us out, man? I missed being on air with you, bud. So it was good to talk again.
Oh, totally, Ryan. Oh my gosh, such a pleasure. And we will make sure to tune in tomorrow for Philippe Costa and Tara Cicchetti. They are going to be a riot. They are funny.
Yes,
And
they are.
I gotta say, just remember, if WMSC is not in your radio or your YouTube or your Zoom, then none of them are even on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you guys very much. Tune
Thank
in
you.
any day of the week, 9 to
Bye,
10.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Peace out, y'all.
I'm gonna
Bye.
dance us out to the music in my head.
Top of the hour, sign off.
Oh yeah.
I can't even hear it, but I know.
I can't. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
You were listening to 90.3 WMSC up in Montclair, New Jersey.